You are listening to the Progressive Mind Show, your number one community building show in the world. Every Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m. CST, live on Facebook and YouTube. Join us as we discuss pertinent issues that relates to you and I with your host, Alinko.
Very talented young people who have decided to follow.
Then another year it starts again. Well, this is different.
We should definitely be talking to these wonderful people. Once again, we urge you to share the feed on Facebook.
Hi there, I'm Faida, and today we're going to be talking about the African diaspora in Mexico.
Whether UK likes it or not, I have to leave this country.
I became a member and a chief of the Vice Lord all in one day.
All these guys winds out of the north at Midway Airport.
His father.
Rise and beans. Okay, kids, we have had to come to an end of this beautiful set.
It's not about this.
This is the inside account of a week that brought the Rainbow Nation to its knees.
Right, essentially trying to inculcate into this. Welcome to the show. My name is Senna, aka Linko. This is the Progressive Mind Show. We are excited to be to have the opportunity to come your way this evening. It is August 24th, 2022, and it's Wednesday, 6 p.m. We're right here in the studios based in Chicago. This evening, we're honored to be speaking to Senator Mattie Hunter. Okay, so Senator Mattie Hunter. She is a senator in the district, in the 3rd district here in the state of Illinois. We will be discussing a little bit about her background, some issues. We'll touch on the economy of Illinois, healthcare, some of her policies. So please stay tuned. You can invite friends who are watching us live, who have Facebook. Let them know we are live now on YouTube as well. We're there and on Twitter. At this point, we would like to go straight to Senator Mattie Hunter for our conversation. We just want to remind our listeners that Captain Mike is available today due to work schedules, so we'll not be able to get the segment. But let's go straight to Senator this evening. And Senator, welcome to the Progressive Mind Show. I know this is the first time, so we are very pleased to have you on our platform today.
Thank you very much, Aliko. I appreciate you inviting me. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely, and we're looking forward to having a great conversation this evening. For folks who don't know who Senator Mattie Hunter is, it's a brief. We're just gonna go to her. Just gonna want to know a little bit about her. Senator Mattie Hunter is a Democrat in Chicago. She has served in the Illinois General Assembly since 2003. Just bear with me. Let me adjust my screen here. Okay, so here we go. Senator Hunter serves in leadership as the Majority Caucus Chair, and she is the chair of the Revenue Committee and the vice chair of the Ethics and Executive Appointments Committees as well, serving the third district Senator Hunter has sponsored over 400 bills regarding breast cancer, healthcare access, substance abuse treatments, youth employment, environmental issues, and education. This is not the full accomplishment, or this does not encompass all her accomplishment, but for the purposes of the conversation, we would continue, and then as we go along, we hope to discover a lot about. So first of all, when you first checked in, you were on your drive to the office, and as understandably a very, very busy person. Can you tell me, today is Wednesday, it's a beautiful day out. Were you from another meeting regarding the states, and can you share a little bit about us? Share a little bit about that with us.
Yes, I was over at the University of Illinois all afternoon attending a food conference. You know, more people are getting into healthy eating and safe eating, and the entire session from 1 o'clock this afternoon until 5 o'clock for 4 hours were at least 8 separate panels focusing on plant-based food, vegetarian food, and just teaching people how to eat healthier and not eating meat. And they had samples of food. They gave you an idea on what they were talking about. They had fresh fruit and vegetables available, and it was such an interesting, very awesome experience. And I am so happy that I took time out of my schedule to go there to find out what was going on, because it looks like that's going to be, I mean, it was like literally sitting there listening to the new shift for the world, not for Chicago, not for Illinois, but for the entire world as it relates to food and how food is going to be prepared and packaged. So, you know, you go to some conferences or you go to hotels and they have so much food left over from banquets and they just trash it. Well, there are all kinds of systems put in place now where there are apps that you can go on and you can literally order that food and get it free from those different hotels and restaurants rather than them trashing it. You know, they talked about food banks and feeding people who are hungry, and it was a good meeting, very, very positive meeting indeed.
Awesome. It's inspiring to hear our leaders in capacities such as yours talk about food and what we eat in this manner. Being an advocate for healthy eating from our leaders is super, super important. I mean, if I may ask, have you always been, you know, this, or was there a point in your life where you decided to maybe switch from, you know, some of our bad ways of, or some bad habits of eating to, you know, to, I would say, healthy eating, if we can use that word?
Well, you know what? You don't know this, but about 10 years ago, I was literally a vegetarian for about 4 years. I actually had a brother from the Bermuda, I believe he was from, and he literally prepared all of my meals. He would package them, he would label them Monday through Sunday. He would drop it off at my house, and I grabbed the shopping bags along with my luggage, and I head to my car and drive down to our capital for work. And that is the only food that I would eat all while I was working in our state capital. And it was all vegetarian food, no meat or nothing, just, you know, the tofu and just plant-based foods, veggies, fresh veggies and fruit. And I never felt so healthy before in my life. My memory was so strong that I can literally remember every day, every hour that was on my schedule for a whole month without looking at a calendar, you know. And I automatically, just by eating healthy, I automatically lost about 20 pounds. And my vision cleared up, and it was just an awesome experience, you know. But then the guy moved to, the brother moved back home to Bermuda, and I didn't have anybody else to prepare my foods for me, you know. And down in our capital, that's like the meat capital of the city, of the state, you know, with lots of beef and pork, you know. So I wind up going back to eating those kinds of foods. But after today, I am very strongly leaning towards going back to a plant-based diet for sure.
Very powerfully said. Senator Hunter, what has been, from your estimation, and a lot of us already know the answer to this question, but again, from a leadership standpoint, we know that in the Black community, in the minority communities, in the urban communities, our ways of eating, our pattern of eating has not been too healthy. And sometimes we know it's not right. So why are we not putting a stop to it? Why is it so difficult for us to access or to engage in healthy eating, knowing that what we put in our body is what determines our health in the long run?
Because that's what we grew up on, first of all. That's what our grandparents, our great-grandparents, our parents fed us. They taught us how to prepare the dishes. They taught us how to go to the grocery store and shop for different types of meats, chicken, beef, pork, you know. And you know, we live in food deserts. We have very serious issues in our community as it relates to not having a proper grocery store that sell fresh fruits and fresh vegetables, you know, and that has alternative foods, you know. So that's all we see. So you see what you eat, you get what you get, you get what you get, you know. And so, you know, that's how we grew up.
Okay, so now
Your
that I'm
parents,
sorry.
when you, oh, that's different. I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but great point made. And so now that, I mean, you've seen this, now that you've seen a trend, and of course you advocate for good health, and we'll go into some of your healthcare bills and policies and what, because I know you're very passionate about that. Right eating is very important in health prevention in our general health. So we will go into some of the health policies or the health bills you've passed. But if I may ask, though, having been a senator over the 3rd district of Illinois, can you tell us some of the towns that are within your, not some of them, but tell us the towns or neighborhoods that are within your jurisdiction, and if you've made some progress in helping to increase the food desert problem in this community?
Yes, I have a very diverse district. I have one of the most diverse districts in the state of Illinois. You can go from the Gold Coast, where all the money is, to the Soul Coast, where all the middle and low income Black people live, you know. And so I have areas in my district such as River North. I have the financial district downtown in my district, where you have all of the major banks and finance companies and credit unions are all in my district downtown. And start going south. I have a community called Near South, and I have Grand Boulevard in my district. I have Washington Park in my district where I reside. I have communities such as the Inglewood community and Grand Crossing in my district. And right now I still have parts of South Shore in my district, but I will, because of the redistricting that we have every 10 years, I will lose all of South Shore that was in my district starting in January. So now I'm having to learn the new boundaries of my district as we speak.
And if I may ask, I know some of the districts you've spoken about, Inglewood, Washington Park, and some of these areas struggle with, you know, this food desert conversation we're having now. And so, if I may ask, I'm sure you've enacted some policies or currently working on policies that would bring a lot of groceries, or just basically help improve the eating habit and the easy access to alternative healthy food in those communities. I don't know if there's something that you're already working on.
Well, in the past several years, myself and one of my state representatives, we passed legislation to encourage people to have community farms in their community. We have so many vacant lots within my district, And so many neighbors and organizations has gotten together over the years, and they are now growing their own fruits and vegetables and different kinds of greens and bell peppers and celeries and lettuce and all kinds of wonderful fruits and vegetables, and most of them are giving it away to the community, and if they're not giving it away, then they have these farmer markets, where they're selling them to other community.
Well, looks like we're having a little glitch with Senator Hunter's feed. We will wait for her to come back in.
I'm here.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you so much. Looks like
Yeah.
we have her right back. Okay, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
and so every senator there are 59 state senators in the state of Illinois, and each state senator has 2 state representatives.
Okay.
Yes, just so you'll know. And I have 220,000 people in my district, and each one of those state representatives have 110,000 each.
Wow. The imagination of your workload, your responsibilities is daunting enough. And we would like to talk about how you're able to navigate that with family and all. But one would wonder, growing up in America, what something we've started on the Progressive Mind show is their stories, where we talk to prominent people who have made it through thick and thin, who perhaps were not born with silver spoons in their mouth, but have achieved the American dream and possibly surpassed it. And you're obviously one shining example. So maybe walk us through your growing up in America, some of the struggles you had, and what made you go into politics.
Well, first of all, and thank you for that question. First of all, I grew up in public housing here in Chicago. It was the largest public housing development in the country, and it was called Robert Taylor Homes. It has since been torn down. But I grew up in public housing, and my parents raised 13 of us. And I saw the injustices that were occurring based upon the color of our skin and the zip code in which you live. And when I was growing up, back then, that was back in the 60s, they were saying that Chicago was the most segregated city in America. And it still remains the same now, after 60 years later, but this is why we have policies. We have to deal with redlining and other acts of discriminations that kept Black people out of the middle class and white neighborhoods, and we have segregated communities and segregated cities, and I just felt that I was tired of seeing my community being underfunded, and then I saw creations of permanent ghettos, which meant that people was kept down, and it was difficult for them to get up and prosper. It's just that I guess God had his hands on me, because out of all of my siblings, I'm the only one that went to college and graduated and I have degrees. And I think that education is truly the key out of poverty.
You said out of all your siblings, how many siblings do you have? And if you can walk us through your degrees.
I have 12 siblings, and I have a bachelor's degree where I majored in government. I minored in secondary education. I have a master's degree where I majored in sociology, specialized in alcohol and drug counseling, and I have 2 honorary doctorate degrees. My undergraduate school bestowed upon me an honorary doctorate degree. I went to undergrad at a school called Monmouth College.
Yes.
Here in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to grad school at Jackson State University in Mississippi. And then there was a religious organization that bestowed upon me an honorary doctorate degree about 15 or so years ago.
Thanks for sharing the your educational background. And so your upbringing in poor neighborhoods, when you described Chicago at the time, 60 years ago or in the 60s, as one of the segregated cities in the country, or actually, I mean, if I may use your word, I mean, you said the most, and you said to date. However, some people also say Chicago is a very diverse city. And in these days, we've seen all the festivals, we've seen, diverse programs trying to bring people together. Would you say that the city has gotten much better? And what more can we do to enforce or close that gap?
Well, speaking of gaps, I've never seen so many gaps in services, so many gaps in funding of programs, so many gaps in the number of jobs, so many gaps in healthcare. So many people are falling through the cracks, and I'm not very happy with the health condition of the people in the community, not only in this community, but all over. There's some statistics that state that a Black person lives less of 11 years as compared to white folks on the north side, and the distance is only about 3 miles, and that's the same thing going on with the south side and the west side of the city of Chicago. So we get inferior health care services on the south side and the west sides of Chicago compared to whites on the north side and in the northern and the northwest suburban areas. And that is totally unacceptable. And the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus a year and a half ago passed 4 pillars to address the discrepancies, the discrimination, the racial discrimination, and the inequities that exist, and the inclusiveness, the lack of inclusiveness in our community, by passing 4 pillars focusing on education reform, health and human services reform, criminal justice reform, and education reform. And so, economic development reform. And so we are in the process now. The governor, both chambers passed those 4 pillars into law. And we are now in the process of implementing those 4 pillars to improve the quality of life of the poor people and Blacks on the south and west sides of the city of Chicago.
Great, thank you. Would you say that, again, your upbringing was the motivation for you to go into education? I mean, to take your education very seriously and focus on the programs that you majored in so that you can become a politician to change the world?
I think that where I grew up at and how I grew up. You see, my parents and my grandparents were from the Delta of Mississippi. And that's where they picked cotton at. My father told me that he used to pick up 100 pounds of cotton a day. Got tired of the white man not paying him enough monies. And so he became older. He got married to my mother, and they migrated. They were part of the Great Migration that occurred from the 1920s up until the 1950s in Chicago. And so my father had an 8th grade education and my mother had a 6th grade education. Okay. And I saw them struggle every single day to feed us, to clothe us, and to house us. And I always, out of all of my siblings, I always wanted more than my siblings and some of my friends that I grew up with, So I went and got me a part-time job while I was in school so I can buy my own clothes and take care of myself a little bit better. I helped my parents take care of my siblings, all while I was still going to school. And that was when I was in high school, you know. And I made sure that every summer I found me a summer job somewhere, you know. And so early on, after watching and having role models, some of my elementary and high school teachers became my role models. And I saw what they were accomplishing in their lives with an education. And so many of my girlfriends were on drugs. Not only girlfriends, but the guys too. Just my classmates and my friends were on drugs, and they were alcoholics. And I didn't want that. I wanted more than that. They were dropping out of school. The girls were getting pregnant. And I'm sorry, but I wanted more. So I stayed in school. And that's when early on I learned that my ticket out of poverty had to have been an education. So
would you say that the American dream, though, as everybody sees it, is hinged on intrinsic motivation to want to do better, to be able to take advantage of the opportunities? The reason why I asked is some people would look in the urban communities, in the black communities and say, oh, these are just, they're just lazy. They don't want to take advantage. They don't want to go to school. You thrive. So what is it? Is it more of the system putting checks in places where people are not able to achieve their dreams, or is more about the individuals?
I think it's a combination of all of them.
Okay.
You see, I see inferior housing. I see inferior education in our community, in the Black community. I've seen people who were very highly motivated, and because of crime or violence or you know, I don't want to criticize the parents back during the days when I was coming up, because the parents were doing the best they could. All of our parents were doing the best they could to raise their children. Some of them were stronger than the others were. All single mothers raising their children by themselves, and the fathers were either deceased, or they had left the family, or they were incarcerated, you know. And so it was so difficult for these families to prosper and to persevere, you know. And so I saw many of them who didn't have food in their houses. You know, I know my parents, they used to cook a pot of beans and rice several times a day. And they've not only fed us, but they fed the neighborhood, you know. But that's what we had, an extended family back then. But some people, I don't even know if they know what a family is today. It's just so much going on in our community. So many distractions, so much hatred. I've never seen folks that did not have any hope for the future, you know. But then again, on the other side, the way I move around in my district and I talk and work with different kind of people, I see all kinds of prosperity. I see young people who lived in the same community that I lived in, and they had some of the same kind of challenges that I had, and they're making it.
Yeah.
They're making it, you know. But I had strong parents, and I also had some major role models in my life.
Yeah.
You know, so
I'm sorry, I was going to follow up. If you talk about role models, can you pinpoint some key? You mentioned your teachers, but outside the educational spectrum, were there other pillars that in the Black community or just globally that motivated you, people's life that you looked up to?
Yeah, you know, I started out. I mean, I when I lived in public housing, when I was in high school, I worked 10 hours a week at the Chicago Housing Authority management office that was responsible for managing the development, the public housing development that I lived in.
Okay.
Some of those people literally took me under their wings. They already knew that I was a community leader and that I was always attending community meetings. But so they became my role models. My teachers became my role models. And then I started getting involved. Once you become a community activist, then the only other alternative is to become get involved with the politics that go on in the community, you know.
Okay.
So I got in politics when I was 15 years old, and my mentor became the alderman. His name was Ralph Metcalf, who later on ran track, and he went on to become a U.S. congressman in Washington, D.C., in which he brought me with him I was a congressional intern in his office for a semester while I was in college. So I've had some tremendous role models in my life, you know, and I still have some, because, you know, we all must have someone to go to and to talk to. You know, we all get confused, or we get stuck on a particular issue or a situation, and we just do not know which way to turn sometimes. And some people turn to the Bible, some people turn to their ministers, you know, and some people turn into negative influences in their lives, you know. But I was blessed to have had very positive role models throughout my life, even today.
Great response, Senator. We would take a quick break. When we come back, the show continues. We're talking to Senator Mattie Hunter, who is Senator of the over the 3rd District of the state of Illinois. We will take this short break. When we come back, the show continues. After her, we will be talking to Dayo, who is with the Africa International House. They're going to be we're going to be discussing the Africa International Fest of the Arts, Africa Festival of the Arts, actually, which is coming up, I think, next weekend. So stay tuned. Do not go, do not leave, and make sure you share this feed as we take the short break. When we come back, it will be we'll be coming back to Senator. Trying to get the promo here. We are back on the platform. This is the Progressive Mind Show. We are here every Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. talking about issues that affect our communities. We are about engaging in positive dialogues to effect positive attitudes. We are very big on connecting the African diaspora. If you have something you're passionate about in your community, feel free to reach out to us at info.progressiveminds@gmail.com. info.progressiveminds@gmail.com. As you saw during our break, we also build websites. We make flyers, logos, and so if you need logos and flyers done, you've seen our work out there. We make very high quality flyers and logos and websites. Contact us at the same email, info.progressiveminds@gmail.com. We will give you some of the best flyers, logos, and websites at a very competitive market price. We need, actually, I just saw this. We need volunteers in the area of marketing, social media, grant writing. We have 501c3 radio show, and our goal is building our communities. We've done a lot, and we keep doing a lot in our communities. So we encourage you all to reach out to us if you're able to assist us in any way. Either you donate on our website, or you can render your skill set to the Progressive Minds, so we can keep doing what we're doing. On that note, we'll go back to Senator Mattie Hunter on the show this evening. I know I'm pronouncing your name in a very typical Ghanaian way, so I hope I hope it's fair.
It's no problem. Some people call me worse than that, so it's okay.
Before the break, you talked about clinging on to things or looking up to things in hard times when when you're trying to make it in life. And you mentioned God. How was that? God, religion, spirituality, how has that been for you? And if there is there any particular one that you ascribe to? And if you don't want to share, that's okay, but we just want to know.
Well, I've always gone to church when I was growing up, worshiping God. I belong to church. I belong to a church now, but I don't attend it as much as I did in the past.
Okay.
Now that you have church services on TV, I can watch it on TV and I've been focusing more on getting some rest and trying to take care of myself, you know. And I know God is very important in my life, and I worship him every single day. I think about him and I praise God every day, you know.
Some people will say the online thing, and we'll go back to policy in a little bit, but this is very good because a lot of people are getting to know you the first time, and I really appreciate what you're sharing, because we see you on TV, and sometimes we can make the connection. Is she with us? The politicians are high up there. Are they with us? Do they understand us? Do they have lives just like us too? So we really appreciate you sharing with us. But people will say, I mean, going to church and watching on TV or online is not the same. What do you say to that quickly?
I still feel the spirit on TV. I feel the spirit in my house, you know.
Okay.
So I don't know what people are talking about, you know.
Okay. Great response.
I can't speak for them. I can only speak for myself, and I feel the spirit, brother.
Great response. Thank you. While we were talking earlier, you mentioned we talked about gap and your passion for filling the gap. And is that why you initiated the health and fitness fair? How long have you been doing that? And just want to know the motivation behind that.
Yeah. So when I was a freshman senator, I was reading a magazine, and the magazine stated that Chicago was the fattest city in the nation. And I was shocked because when I was growing up, I played softball, was very athletic. I stayed in good shape. I kept moving around. I jumped rope, I hula hooped, and did all kinds of things, you know, to stay in shape. And I wasn't doing it to stay in shape. Actually, you know, I did it because I was having fun, you know. And so the older I became, I realized that it's important that you keep moving and everything. But our kids are not. Most of the fatness came from the children who are in elementary school, you know, and they weren't moving around. They weren't. I think the public school system has stopped the kids from going outside for their recess, so the kids weren't able to jump up and down and run and have a good time and just be kids like I was when I was growing up, you know. And so I decided, kept saying, what is it that I can do? I passed some legislation, you know, to bring recess back and some other things, but I decided that I was going to have a health and fitness fair. We've been doing this for 18 years, and we bring politicians together. We host, one of our hosts is the Illinois Institute of Technology. So we literally have it on their campus outside. And I work with other elected officials. I work with the University of Chicago, criminal justice organizations, healthcare organizations, Commonwealth Edison, and all of these people fund this initiative because I can put it on by myself. And so this year we have it the first Saturday of every August when it's almost time to go back to school, and we have barbers and hair braiders, and they come and cut the kids, cut the boys' hair. They braid the girls' hair, and get them ready for school. We give out book bags and school supplies. We have state agencies there. The Secretary of State is there to give people state ID cards in case they lose them. We have shredding and electronic recycling, and we have entertainment. We have the world champion Jesse White tumblers, and it's just a fun day. It's hot outside. We have tents. We have about 50 to 60 vendors who are offering kinds of services. People are going there to get their health screenings. They're getting their eyes checked. We have people there giving free massages. Everything is free. We don't charge for anything.
That is powerful. No, that is. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, just saying it was free to the public, and and to the vendors. We do not charge anything. This is a day for people to share resources and just have fun. We have lunch and we have music. We dance, and it's just a lot of fun. It's like an outdoor party for about 4 hours, and that's it.
Thank you for sharing. Another important thing that I'd like our listeners to know about you, which is your position as as one of the leadership of the Illinois Black Caucus. You're also the chair of the Revenue Committee. And chair for the appointees of executive appointees committees. Now, can you, in a few minutes, maybe you can define, what these three committees are, the significance of it, and the role that you play?
So the Revenue Committee is, like it says, revenue. Committee that people have ideas on how to bring more revenues into the state of Illinois. It could be through way of bringing in new businesses or tax increases or whatever.
Okay.
But it's generating new revenue. That's one. And then the Executive Appointments Committee, the state of Illinois has about 50 or 60 boards and commissions that the governor appoints people to serve on those commissions. Some of them boards, some of them are paid and others are non-paid. And so when the governor makes appointments to these various boards and commissions, they have to come before the Senate Executive Appointments Committee. I happen to be the vice chair of that committee. So therefore, we must know the person's resume, see their resume, we run background checks to make sure that these people are who they say they are and that they have the credentials to fulfill the obligations of those committees and boards and commissions. And so that's what that do. And then I'm sorry, what was the next question? It was revenue, executive appointments. And I'm just, Black Caucus. I'm just a leader. I try to mentor some of the new legislators coming in. For those who will listen, some of them don't listen. They just walked in the door and they know more than you. So you just let them go on to the wayside. But
So yes. in total, you've served in the state. You've served the government of Illinois for about over 20 years.
It's been 20 years.
Awesome. That is outstanding. And I think that a lot of times we don't take time to acknowledge and appreciate these achievements from people like you. And so we just say sometimes we don't, because we always look at your work, what you've done, what you haven't been able to do, the next election, if you're going to win or not. But to be in governance for this many years and having won your seat over and over again is highly recommendable. It's phenomenal. We want to, on this platform, we want to use our platform to appreciate you especially and congratulate you for serving this nation for so long, because your work and others pave way for everybody in this country and across the nation. More importantly, African immigrants as we come here to seek for greener pastures.
Yes, absolutely.
We want to talk about your some of the bills. Now, you talked about your involvement or your leadership on the revenue committee, and you talk about looking for ways that the state can make money, new businesses, and all of that. But we also know that the state of Illinois is struggling or has some issues when it comes to taxes. Reason why people leave, or people are leaving the state to Indiana. So, can you reconcile the two for us?
Well, Illinois has been losing population as far as I can remember for the past 30 years. I talk to people and I hear their concerns, and some of them are stating that they're leaving for a number of reasons. I know a lot of Black folks who grew up in the South, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi. And once they've been up in Chicago for 30 or 40 years, they've worked, they got their pension, and their family still maintains property and land in their homeland where they grew up at, and they go back home and build a house, and that's where they retire at. So you have some people who are leaving the state of Illinois, going back to their homeland. Okay, it's cheaper and it's easy. It's an easy living and an easier quality of life. Okay. And then you have other people who I've been listening to tell me that they're paying too many taxes. Okay. And then you have some people who are saying that they're not happy with the educational system. Some people are leaving because of crime and violence. And some people are leaving because their job transferred them out, or they're tired of the cold weather, and so they want to go someplace where there's a warmer climate of weather. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that the only reason why people are leaving is because of the high taxes. They're leaving for a number of reasons based upon the information that I've gotten from them.
But for those who are leaving for higher taxes, is there a policy that is being worked on to address that?
Well, I mean, let me say this.
Okay.
We raise taxes for a reason. We don't raise taxes just for the heck of it. Okay. Now, the people in the state of Illinois, they want all kinds of dollars to pay for all kinds of services, such as they want extra dollars to provide more quality of services like mental health, alcohol, drugs. They want better and improved housing. They want more of everything. Okay. Well, somebody has to pay for that. We try to accommodate our constituents and as much as we possibly can. But according to the Constitution, by law, we are responsible for educating people. We are responsible for the Medicaid and the Medicare population and feed people. Okay. And you have to take care of criminal justice. The public safety is also important. Other than that, everything else, we are not required by the Constitution to provide. So that includes, public health also is important, but the human services portion of it is not required.
Okay.
People want all kinds of services, and so we know that that's the right thing to do. We've been helping people who are falling between the cracks, and they need some assistance. We take the tax dollars and we pay for those services so that people can receive those services to improve their quality of life. However, the more people want, somebody got to pay for it. So you raise taxes to pay for different kinds of services and items. You know what I mean?
I understand that. But do you get worried at all with the numbers that are the number of residents or citizens that are leaving the state of Illinois? Because it could also be seen as brain drain. or skilled professionals, the state could be losing valuable human resources, if you can use that phrase.
I don't understand your question. Can you reframe it?
So what I'm saying is, are you concerned that people are leaving the states, and because if people are leaving the states, it could be an issue of very high skill labor that are leaving the state, which would cause the states losing valuable human resources?
Well, you can look at it that way, but let me say this. While people with high skill levels are leaving the state of Illinois, guess what? As new businesses move into the state, they move their headquarters into the state of Illinois.
Okay.
People are leaving, more are coming back into the state. You know?
Yeah.
And so we just had a census. We just completed the census last year. So we did not lose that many people.
Okay.
In terms of population.
Okay.
Okay. So
what are some of the prominent businesses that are coming to the state?
Well, we had some of them that are, let's see, I don't know, I can't remember offhand.
I know Google is here.
I know that Google is here, and actually Allstate Insurance has moved their headquarters here in Illinois, because both of them, Google and Allstate, are in my district downtown.
And Bowen is here too. Bowen has been here about what, four years now?
Bowen has been here. They're still here, but I think they are moving or has moved their world headquarters out of Chicago.
Okay.
But like I said, I still get notices saying that as corporations are leaving, the others are coming in.
No, absolutely. You're right, because Chicago is also being touted as the next Silicon Valley. I mean, there has been that.
Chicago has been a world-class city for years. And Chicago, in my opinion, will always be a world-class city. Matter of fact, they're talking about bringing the Democratic Convention next year to Chicago. So, you know, people are complaining about the taxes and the crime and the violence and everything, you know, but Chicago is still a good town. I mean, we got a huge tourism business here. We have some of the best entertainment here in the city of Chicago, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Lollapalooza is held here every year.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you know.
Okay, so that's a few questions I wanted to get out of the way. So there's so many bills that you've passed. Which one would you say is your most staple bill, and what other, you know, current bills, if there are, that you're working on that you're looking forward to passing so bad?
Well, let me just say this. I just hope to continue working on the causes that I've always been passionate about. That's expanding access to quality health care, and additionally increasing public safety measures, you know. So, you know, so those are some of the issues that I will continue and always continue to work on. We have issue dealing with choice, a woman's choice. And so those are some of the issues. That's another issue we would take up during our fall veto session in November. And, you know, I think I got a couple of more bills that I was not able to pass before session ended. So I'll probably pick those up and get those passed when I return. And then January, we start all over again with brand new bills and brand new initiatives. And again, those will be public safety and healthcare. And whatever issues my constituents bring to me, you know, we'll sit down and discuss them, and we'll probably get those passed as well.
Awesome.
You know?
Awesome. Let's talk about your work in South Africa when it comes to substance abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, we only have about 6 minutes to wrap up. So maybe briefly, if you can touch on that. And if you may, we would like you to link it to that of the state of Illinois, and what work you're doing in this area when it comes to that substance abuse in the state.
Yeah, so my background is substance abuse. I am a certified alcohol and drug counselor in Chicago, in Illinois, and the state of Indiana. And from 94 to 96, I was working for a non-for-profit for an NGO here in Chicago. It was a Black NGO, and we had an opportunity. The Black social workers of South Africa, as well as the U.S. State Department, invited us to go over to work with the Black social workers because they knew that apartheid was soon coming, and that they wanted they needed some advanced training. And so we came over there and helped to provide for 3 years advanced alcohol and drug training, and helped them set up programs throughout the state of throughout the Republic of South Africa. And so after that, I've continued to go back to and return to South Africa. Some of those people are still around. And then also we've had tremendous amount of trade missions between Illinois businesses and human services organizations and the businesses in South Africa, as well as the human services organizations, the hospitals and healthcare systems in South Africa. So I've been busy working on trade missions back and forth, and so, and I enjoy doing that kind of work. So we will continue to do so.
Awesome. Lastly, I know you've been involved in the diaspora conversations. There was this summer, I've seen you in several programs, one of them being you being on the panel at the event organized by United Africa Organization. You spoke fondly about the African diaspora. So you want to touch on that conversation maybe in the next 45 seconds, and then we can try to wrap up.
Thank you. Yes. So there were a number of different issues that folks from the diaspora who moved here to Chicago and to Illinois, and they're having some very serious issues with citizenship or just being ordinary people and getting services, healthcare services, and a number of other things. And so I have committed myself to work with the organizations that they're working with, the OAU and other organizations, to help those folks that came from the diaspora to help improve their quality of life as well. So, yeah.
Thank you, Senator Mattie Hunter, for your time. We appreciate the insight you've given us to your story and some of the work you've done and what you're looking to do. We're looking forward to hosting you sometime in the future. And I know you're planning to visit Africa. Wish you the best, and hopefully when you come back, we can share the story. But before we go, would you have any last comments, remarks to share with our viewers and, of course, your followers and everybody that's watching us and will be watching this show afterwards?
Yes, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on your show. I've heard about it, Progressive Minds, and I said, who in the world are those folks? And I've known you for a while.
Yeah.
But didn't connect the dots, but I have now, and I look forward to returning back to your show to talk to my brothers and sisters in the diaspora.
Thank you so much once again, Senator Mattie Hunter. Folks, we have been talking to the Honorable Senator. She is the Senator of the 3rd District here in the state of Illinois. We will be taking a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking to DAHL of the African International House, and we'll be talking about the festival that is coming next week. And Senator, have a wonderful evening. And once again, thank you. Enjoy the rest of the week. Bye-bye. Thank
you. And I'll be honored. They are honoring me at the African Festival of the Arts this weekend. I am the Grand Yeye.
Okay, Grania, yeah, and I also know you're a queen, so we have to.
I am.
Should we say Senator Queen Mattie Hunter or Queen Senator? Which one should come first?
The Queen. I love the Queen first.
It was nice talking to you, Senator. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Many blessings. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Check out this beautifully made artistry of coffee tables made from a combination of recycled tires, jute ropes, wood, and fabric to suit your style. Yes, we make to order. These coffee tables can help you make a statement in your bedrooms, offices, and living rooms. But remember, we only ship within the USA and Canada after shipping cost is paid. Call Jasper Designs on 1-306-203-2650 or email us at doduyayra@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at Jasper Love or follow Pearl Yara Agboka on Facebook. Don't be left out. Please place your orders now.
I posted and shared.
Welcome back to the show. My name is Alinko, and we are back to talking to LAOYE. Dayo, can you hear me? Okay, while we work on the technical issues and trying to get him in the studio, this evening we just done speaking with Senator Mattie Hunter. She shared her story, some of her accomplishments, her work in South Africa. I hope you were able to, I hope you took the opportunity to learn a little bit about the senator. And one of the reasons why we do these things is to connect the community to our politicians, because what they do affects us daily. The work of politicians is super, super important. Their significance in our society is critical, super, super critical. And I always tell people that their work is the most critical one, or their involvement in our society is the most important thing ever. Forget about economics, forget about health, forget about jobs. All the elements, that evolves or that revolves around us are important, but the top of that is politics. Because when they make laws and change policies and make policies, it affects millions. Okay, if a doctor goes wrong, if a doctor engages in malpractice, maybe one or two people can lose their lives. If a lawyer makes a bad case at the courts, maybe one or two people will lose a case, may affect them negatively. If accountants, miscalculate numbers, figures will go wrong, things may go wrong, company may lose money or will lose money. Engineer, in front of a train, pilot makes a mistake, people will, lose life. Things will happen, bad things happen. All I'm saying is that in every facet of our life, in all of these professions or disciplines, we have special professionals, and these are all important. However, the work of the politician, in my opinion, surpasses all of this, because they make laws that touches all of these things that I've said and more. And if they make bad decisions, or if we don't pay attention to elect the right people into offices, and they make bad decisions, guess what? It's touching millions of lives. And sometimes it can change lives forever. And so it's super, super important that we engage our politicians, get to know them, and we engage and stay involved in politics. We have to stay in tune. How do you not stay in tune in politics? When your job, the salary you're receiving, and the working conditions is all decided by them, right? And so we have to, it's a must as a people, be involved, be in tune, be well informed when it comes to politics. More importantly, hearing from them, getting to know them, their personalities, who they are, and because that is how we get to know them and why they make policies, which will influence our decisions in voting for them or not, when the next election time comes around. All right. And so that's how we change our society. That's how we make it better. And we're still trying to get Dayo in the studio. Brother John, greetings. Good to see you here. we just finished talking to the senator. I know you would have had a question for him because you have a year for politics and the passion for it, and you're very good. You are very informed politically too. So thank you, John, for joining the feed. We haven't touched base in a while. I hope the family is doing well. If you're watching us, this is the Progressive Mind Show. Here is where we build our community by engaging in dialogues that can bring positive attitudes in our communities. We are also big in connecting the African diaspora. And so stay tuned. You can subscribe to our channel, our Facebook channel, Facebook and YouTube channels. And tell friends, tell community members, folks in your network to subscribe, because this is the most unique community building platform in the world. Part of what we do here too is we build apps, websites, logos, and graphic work. For those of you who have been following the Progressive Minds for some time now, I'm sure you've seen a lot of our artwork. We do top-notch artwork, and we will beat any market price out there. So if you want work done in terms of website, logos, flyers, business cards, any graphic work, contact the Progressive Mind Show. We're on Instagram, Twitter, but you can reach us via email, which is info.progressiveminds@gmail.com, info.progressiveminds@gmail.com. Looks like we have Dio back in the studio. Mr. Dio, can you hear me loud and clear? All right, so whilst we try to get Dio back in the studio, we will take a short break. When we come back, we would continue the conversation with the Africa Festival, Africa International. Africa International is organizing the Africa Festival of the Arts. So Africa International is organizing African Festival of the Arts, and it's coming next weekend. And as you heard, Senator Mattie Hunter said she's going to be honored there. And I know there's going to be a lot of big dignitaries. So one festival you don't want to miss. You also may meet a lot of friends from out of town. So make a date with us. But let's take a quick break. If you're trying to call, our system is having a bit of issues, so you may not be able to get through us. You can pass your comment on the feed, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube or or Twitter, because we're live on Twitter right now. We're here every Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m., Sundays from 4 to 6. Wednesdays 6 to 8 p.m. Central, Sundays 4 to 6 p.m. Central. But we have not. Our Sunday episodes had been on a bit of a hold because we're still working the back end to get it flowing consistently. And one of the reasons is lack of capacity. So if you're out there and you like what we're doing here with the Progressive Mind Show, I'm sure you've heard about us. You've seen some of the work we're doing. We need your assistance. Be it production-wise, we need production work. We need help with production, marketing, social media, and even writing. Grant writing. Even if you're not qualified or special grant writer or skilled grant writer, but you love to write, please reach out to us, because we need your services. We need your help. We also need your financial support. So go to theprogressivemindshow.com or thepmsshow.com and make your contribution to us. We are a 501c3 radio show, and your contribution will go a long way in supporting us. Let's take this break. When we come back, we'll try and get LAOYE with the African International House on the show. We shall be right back. to the show. This is the Progressive Minds. My name is Linko, and we're going to be talking to the one of the leaders at Africa International House, Dio. Looks like we're still struggling with his feed. We're trying. He's trying. Hopefully, we'll get it sorted out and have this convo. Very, very, very important. So there was something that I wanted to share here, which is but anyway, we shall take we want to take a break, but we don't get in the feed. So a month ago, the Progressive Mind Show produced one of the historic events ever to hit the state of Illinois, the city of Chicago, perhaps this country. We brought a king from Ghana in the person of His Royal Majesty King Nyaho Tamaklo VI, who is the right-wing ruler of the Anglo Kingdom, all the way in Ghana, to crown Reverend Jesse Jackson. After the event, he took time to meet some of the important, some high-profile personalities in the state of Illinois, and just shared moments with them. And let's watch some of it.
Son of the soil of Africa. Never forget where you came from. And we look forward to seeing you back in Africa soon. Your ancestral home. Thank you, sir.
For those of you who missed the show, this is part of what the king of Anglo Kingdom came to do in the state of Illinois. Again, very, very historic. He took time and met people, interacted with folks. He opened up his kingdom to African Americans to return home. Perhaps we'll try and see if we try and play his speech this evening while we work on getting Dio in the studio. Let's watch another interaction of the king with Honorable Dorothy Brown. What the clip you saw was with him, was him and the Secretary of State Jesse White. This is with Dorothy Brown.
Yeah, they got to put it on first. Listen, but how do you?
No, the other way. No, the other way.
Yeah, the other way.
I'm gonna put it around.
Yeah.
And then you turn it around.
Let's me help
I
you.
was gonna turn it around. I was gonna put it on, then turn it around.
Okay.
Just zip it up.
Oh, okay. Then you will turn. Okay, got it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. You've been doing this for years, you know?
Yeah. As a lady, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
We know how to put on.
Yeah. Ooh.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah. You want to cover it? You want this to flow?
Do we flow it?
Yeah, if it flow it, then
flow like this?
Yeah, let it flow.
Oh, okay.
If you don't mind, I'll just
Yes, sir.
open it for you. Okay, got it.
Honorable Dorothy Brown being officially decorated as a citizen of Anglo
Kingdom.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you so very much. Oh, I am so honored.
Yeah, this is good, perfect for you.
That was beautiful, right? It tells you the personality of the king. He's such in spite of being king of a very large kingdom, a very historic kingdom, the Anglo Kingdom, which is the third, I would say, one of the three main kingdoms, the only three old kingdoms in Ghana. All right, the Anglo Kingdom. So we were honored to have him here. There's more to it. Let's watch this other interaction with the Rainbow Push folks.
Jackson! Hail to the king.
One more time. Jackson
of the Anglo
Kingdom.
There you go. Citizen of the Anglo Kingdom. Official citizen now. You all now are citizens of the Anglo. That was beautiful, right? We had a pleasant moment. That's his Tugby Jackson, okay?
You have
I
it?
think I have to put it on first.
Let's see. But how do you?
No, the other way. No, the other way.
Yeah, the other way.
Well, I'm going to pull it around.
Yeah. Tuggy.
And then you turn it around.
Let Tuggy help
I was
you.
going to turn it around. I was going to put it on, then turn it around.
Okay.
Just lift it up.
Oh, okay. Then you will turn. Okay, got it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Put it in there.
Okay. You've been doing this for years, you know? Yeah.
Put it as a lady, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
We know how to put on.
Yeah. Ooh.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah. You want to cover it? You want
I mean, I can watch this over and over again. Let's see if we can get his speech, okay, which was a very powerful one for those of you who didn't get a chance to be at the event. See if we can play the King's speech. Here we go. Let's see if we can find this. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, the international community, my name is Togbi Nyaho Tamaklo VI of the Anglo Kingdom of Ghana, a kingdom that stretches from Ghana through Togo, Benin, and to Nigeria. I stand before you from Africa, recognizing that this moment is much bigger than any one of us. I stand before you humbled to be in the presence of one of the greatest civil rights icon of the world. I stand before you recognizing the invaluable work of people of African descent to the development of the entire world, and in particular to African Americans for the many, many years of toil and suffering that you have undergone. I come before you with a plea of atonement. I come before you to say, we are sorry. We are sorry for the complexities of 1619, the movement of millions of you down to the Americas to work for free for many years, to develop this land into a superpower, because it's your money, which was not paid to you, that contributed to the development of this country. There is no iota of fear in any one of us, recognizing the moral authority of each one of us to stand and fight for freedom and to fight for our identity, which was taken away from us. And today, many of us and many of you suffer from years of deprivation of that true identity. I come to bring you back to Africa. I come to offer you land. I come to offer you opportunities. I come to offer you a sense of belonging. There is no amount of gold that can ever repair the damage done to your souls. But we can, in a human way, hold your hands and say, we are truly sorry. And that you can go back into your homes knowing very well that you've done your best. The rest is for us to reach out to you. In 1884, in Germany, after many years, almost 250 years, after you've been taken away and brought to the Americas to work in the cotton fields under inhuman conditions, in 1884, another complex situation was set behind you. Our land was divided among many countries. Our human resource, our gold, manganese, timber, millions of our resources were taken away from us, and we were left deprived in the land of Africa. These two things, slavery and colonialism, the two greatest evils of humanity. It is against this background that you and I must appreciate the work of Reverend Jesse Jackson. The fight to restore the human dignity of each and every one of us. The fight to bring freedom to each and every one of us. The fight to bring justice for all of us. The Reverend Jesse Jackson and many others, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Rosa Parks, Nelson Mandela, Patrice Lumumba, Kwame Nkrumah, Nyerere, Kaunda, and many, many, many more of us have laid down our lives for this moment, a moment of unity and harmony between the two worlds, Africa and the African diaspora in America. Today is the moment. Today is a day of celebration. We honor the tireless work of the Reverend himself, Reverend Jesse Jackson. The moral compass of the international community. The man who broke boundaries, visited several times in South Africa to break back the back of apartheid, to set free Nelson Mandela. His work cannot go unrewarded. There's not too much we can do, but the very little we've done today will give him some sense of peace. There's no need to struggle for any more affirmation, but to walk away from here knowing that the world loves him for just being who he is, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. It is against this background, ladies and gentlemen, the international community, that I proclaim the first king of the African diaspora, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. It is with the blessings of the chiefs and leaders of the international community that we recognize a moral leader, a selfless leader, a leader who will continue to live in our hearts for the rest of our lives. Please join me in crowning, proclaiming, honoring one that has walked the soil of this earth, imperfect as we are, and yet ready to lay down his life for his fellow man, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Thank you.
Sorry, I think I think I had myself on mute, but what a moment that was. That goes down in the annal of history forever. I mean, it was such a powerful moment. I haven't seen it, I haven't going back to watch it because I've been doing other things, but looking at it again today, it's just sends chills to my spine. The electricity in the room that day, and the power that filled that room, the connection, the peace and the healing that just exhumed everybody in that room. Words cannot express it. I can't put it in words. So looks like we have, but from time to time we're playing this. We have this on the YouTube. If you go to the exchange ceremony on YouTube, is there. If you go to the Progressive Minds YouTube channel, it's also there. You can watch it, share it with your friends. It looks like we have Dio here. Dio, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you now. How are you?
Oh, awesome. We struggled a little bit, but thank God we're here. This is the Progressive Mind Show. You're welcome to the platform. My name is
forever.
No, absolutely, that's fine. My name is Alinko, and we want to talk about the Africa Festival of the Arts. But firstly, I know you work with the Africa International House, but in what capacity? Who is DAHL LAOYE?
DAHL LAOYE is an African from West Africa, from the Yoruba culture. I'm from Nigeria specifically, who came to America in 1988 to study in a black college, Howard University, because I wanted to know myself more and I wanted to expose my work to different parts of the world.
That is brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing. And are you currently located in Chicago?
Did you already do it?
Yes. Are you currently located in Chicago, DAHL?
Sorry, I can't hear you. You are fading back and forth.
Okay. Can you? I was asking if you are currently located in Chicago. All right, DAHL, in what capacity do you work with the Africa International House?
I still can't hear you. I think I'm losing you.
Okay. So that is the it's unfortunate we're getting that we're having the technical glitch here. Sorry about that, listeners. We still want to get to Dio. Let me know if you can hear me, okay? So we can get you back in the feed. I can hear you. I can see you in the back end. So let me know if you can as well, okay? In the meantime, this one is from Olivia Sanyu. She said, wow, that was a great moment speech from the king. Congratulations to the king of the diaspora. Beautiful. First king of the diaspora, Reverend Jesse Jackson, the first. Okay. His traditional name, African title, which is the equivalent of king, is Tugby. So he's Tugby Jesse Jackson, just like this here. Okay, this was when his team, just like this. Watch this.
He's moving to another thing.
One more time.
No, I can't.
Of the Anglo Kingdom. There you go. Citizen of the Anglo Kingdom. Official citizen now. You all now are citizens of the Anglo. So that's Tugby Jackson for you. Okay. If you see him anywhere, you address him as Tugby Jackson. Tugby Jesse Jackson. All right. Wow, what a powerful moment. Let's see if we can get Dio back in the studio. Hear him. Dio, how's it going? Okay, still waiting to get feedback from Dio. This is a comment from John. I watched with infinite excitement the crowning of some of our African American giants. It is always a great thing to be in touch with our ancestors. The bridge to bring us all together is growing extensively. Thanks to the Progressive Mind Show for showcasing this great reunion. I cannot watch this event enough. It is only the beginning. Indeed, my brother. Indeed. And this is from Johnny Woods. Excellent speech by the chief. So a little education on chief, king, and all of that. So in Africa, the title is actually king. Okay, the British, I don't know if it's in the 18th century, but back in time, changed it to king and chiefs. There's a whole history to that. Time will not permit me to go into it, but there's a whole history of how the British were able to kind of like give two titles, one being like maybe a sub chief to the king, because per our history we had traditional rulers and these were our kings. All right, we didn't have chiefs and kings. We had kings, we had princes, we had queens and princesses. You know, if you know our history, you know that we're royalty. Our heritage and lineage is our royalty. And most of us here, if you go down the bloodline, would find out that we belong to some royal family. And so it's supposed to be king. But again, just like a lot of other things that the British changed for us, which has been permanent, which has remained permanent till date on the continent and here, the chief king title is also part of that. But on a particular day, we will have that conversation on this show. We're going to teach that so that we can understand what our history was, what we have, and how it was altered, and what we can do about it. But it's supposed to be king, okay? Now, however, having said this, King Nyahota Tugby Nyahota Maklo. So Tugby for the LAOYE tribe in Ghana stands for king. Tugby just means king, elder, you know, type of thing. And for the accounts is Nana. And I think for the northern, don't quote me, I don't know if it's a Dagbon, but the northern part of Ghana, they call it Na. Is it Na? Yana or something? I think it's Yana. Yeah. I need to research that, but I know definitely for the Ewes, it's Togbi. And so he is Togbi Nyaho Tamaklo. In the Anglo Kingdom, there are 36 states, and he is one of the 4 kings that rule the Anglo Kingdom. So the Ewe tribe has their kingdom or their king tradition a little slightly different from the Akans. The Akans would have one big king, like the Otunfo, Nana Osetutu, Otunfo, okay, of the Akan kingdom, Ashanti kingdom. He is the king of the whole Ashanti, and then you have other sub kings under him. And then you Otunfo Osetutu, that's his official title. If you Nana also, again, remember Nana stands for king. But again, because remember I told you the history about how the British changed it, so now we have king and we have chief. So but the Nana stands for both of them. Nana, when you say Nana, it is either a chief or a king. So the chief now, the way we have it in Ghana, are they have lesser jurisdiction compared to the king. So the king is supposed to be, let's say the state of Illinois, for example. The king will be the one that rules the traditional ruler of the entire state of Illinois will be the king. And then if you break it down to state, let's say Champaign, break it down to districts or towns, like Champaign, you have Huiting, Naperville, all these other towns. Then you have other sub rulers, right? So there will be chiefs as we have it now. So that's how it is in Ghana. I can't speak too much on that of Nigeria and other African countries, but Ghana, that's how it is. But King Nyaho Tamaklo is his official title, His Royal Majesty King Nyaho Tamaklo. But in Ghana, because we go more the traditional way, we will not say king, we will say Togbi, which is also the equivalent of king. So that's for a little background of king, chief, all of that. On another day, though, like I said, we'll get an expert who will break it down to the barest minimum, so we can have a very solid understanding. Well, looks like we may not have the Africa International House folks today, because we have been encountering challenges. We have been encountering a lot of challenges this evening. So we would try another time. Hopefully we can get them to come on and share. But the event is next week. Watch out for our platform, the social media platform, the Progressive Minds. We'll be sharing flyers to this effect. I think the festival is next week, Saturday. So we probably share the flyer on our social media. All right. So on that note, if you want to donate your time, your resources in supporting the Progressive Minds, our website that's the name of the show, the Progressive Minds Show. If you type it in Google it comes up. Or the PMS Show. You can go on there and donate handsomely so we can keep doing what we're doing. Remember I mentioned earlier that we have a lot of need in the area of production, marketing, social media, video editing, grant writing. We have 501c. We want to do more. We've done so much already. Glory be to God. But we can do a lot more with your help. So please join the movement so we can all build our communities together. All right. So on that note, I would like to thank Johnny Woods, Olivia for joining the feed. Earlier on, William Bejeke was here with us. I'm not able to see William. There were some others that were on here that I'm not able to see. That said, we would like to end this evening's show. And thank you all once again for joining us. Next week, Wednesday, we shall be here engaging you in with the hopes of making our communities better. This has been your host, Alinko, with the #1 community building platform in the world, the Progressive Minds. Until that, remember, to whom much is given, much is required. Have a wonderful evening. God bless. Bye-bye. We have a comment here. Let's see who's here. Okay, Olivia. Thank you once again. Thank you, Olivia, once again. We appreciate you. Well, on that note, to God be the glory. Have a wonderful evening. Remember to stay positive and keep God in the center of everything you do. Bye-bye.